is Paz? Is she a villain or a victim? What does she accomplish in her time in Metal Gear Solid, and what kind of impact does she make? Heads up, this video will have spoilers for Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, and major spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5. Pacifica Ocean, codenamed Paz Ortega, is a triple agent working for Cypher and the secret main antagonist of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Pacifica Ocean's motivations are layered and slowly start to shift as the events of Peace Walker wear on. In her early childhood, she was scooped up by Cypher and raised to be an agent of theirs. Pacifica felt both indebted to them, but was also afraid of what Cypher would do should she refuse to work for them. With these two key motivating factors in mind, she agreed to act as a triple agent for Cypher when the time came. She endured extreme training in order to work with both the CIA and the KGB that included starvation and long days without sleep. The training was so severe that some of her fellow trainees died during it. Pacifica endured, however, and by the end of it, she proved herself to be the perfect candidate for Cypher to use in his plot to rope BB back into his organization. Pacifica was the only agent to ever talk to Cypher face to face. Pacifica's mission was to infiltrate BB's PMC, MSF, and deliver Cypher's ultimatum of rejoining his organization, or be destroyed. In order to accomplish this, Pacifica adopts the identity of a 16-year-old schoolgirl named Paz Ortega. Paz's name meant peace, and was a little on the nose for Pacifica's cover story as Paz leaned into her namesake and was obsessed with peace. In her cover story, she studied peace under Professor Galvez, hates war, and declares she'll do anything to protect her namesake. Professor Galvez is a KGB spy named Vladimir Zadornov, who Pacifica uses to make contact with MSF. Together, Galvez and Paz recruit MSF to restore peace to Costa Rica in exchange for an offshore facility MSF could use as a permanent base of operations. Things go a little awry when Paz is captured by Hot Cold Man, though Zadornov storms the facility she's being kept in with a squad of Soviet troops and takes her back into his custody. Zadornov tries to make Pacifica shoot Cold Man, but in keeping to her cover story, she refuses. MSF soon responds to the situation and rescues Paz. They capture Zadornov as well and imprison him on MSF's base. Paz attempts to return to Costa Rica, though without Zadornov's funding, she's unable to return to school. Paz comes back to MSF to look for a place where she can belong and help out, and MSF accepts her back. While Paz works on integrating herself into MSF, offering to cook for them and participating in activities with the other base members, such as going fishing together and naming a cat they found, Pacifica works on freeing Zadornov from MSF captivity, all while making repairs and modifications to MSF's Metal Gear Zeke. Zadornov's many escapes gave her the distraction she needed to bring the Metal Gear into working order. By the time Zadornov escapes, Pacifica has finished up the work she needed to do on Zeke. She hijacks the Metal Gear and uses it to threaten BB, telling him that he was to return to Cypher. If he rejoined Cypher's organization, he'd be allowed to keep leading MSF, but would act as Cypher's deterrent and would attack whomever Cypher pointed him in the direction of. If he refused to rejoin Cypher, Pacifica would use Zeke to launch a nuclear strike on the east coast of the United States, framing MSF for the attack and making the world MSF's enemy. BB refuses to join Cypher or be used by him and fights Pacifica and Zeke to stop the nuclear strike. BB's successful, and Pacifica is flung from Zeke's cockpit and into the ocean, where she's later rescued by fishermen. Before their fight, Pacifica expresses disdain for the role she'd been slated to play and speaks harshly to BB, seemingly in complete alignment with Cypher's plans. The walls she'd built up within her through her training were slowly being eroded, however. She found herself really enjoying her time with MSF and even wanted to push back, telling Cypher that she'd finished the modifications for Zeke so that MSF could celebrate Peace Day together. Pacifica was molded from a young age for the purpose of serving Cypher's needs. Those needs took the form of needing to get BB back into the program, but once Pacifica met the charismatic BB and spent time in a group of supportive people with a sense of community, her convictions started to crumble. It's too bad her hand is forced with Zeke, because I wonder if she would have kept finding excuses to push back her hijacking Zeke and betraying MSF indefinitely had she had that option. What do you think? Would Pacifica eventually have truly joined MSF had she had the opportunity to? Pacifica spit some pretty venomous lines at BB, telling him he's fated to be thrown away as a cancer to society.
Their peace you know will be fleeting, elusive. They will use you, disgrace you, and then finally discard you like they would a cancer to society. This is the path you have chosen.
Though it all kind of sounds like Cypher's propaganda to dehumanize BB to make it easier to carry out a mission against him. Not only did Cypher mold Pacifica in her early childhood, but Pacifica was also deathly afraid of Cypher, and evidently for good reason. After her mission is a failure, she's recovered and captured by Cypher, who then holds her at Camp Omega on the southern tip of Cuba. By this point, Cypher is suspicious of her loyalty. Skullface steps in to interrogate Pacifica, though he has his own motivations as well, and interrogates her for Cypher's location, as she's the only one who's ever had direct contact with him. Pacifica is tortured horrifically and eventually gives up Cypher's location. He's at Hell's Kitchen at 10th Ave Avenue of Manhattan in a building disguised to look like other buildings and in a floor that officially doesn't exist for those of you who want to try and assassinate him. Skullface then plants 2 bombs in her for when BB inevitably comes to rescue her. BB eventually does rescue Pacifica as Skullface anticipated and only removes one of the bombs inside of Pacifica. In order to not blow up the helicopter they're all in, she jumps from it and explodes, though the force of the bomb sends the helicopter into the path of an XOF chopper. 9 years later, Venom Snake encounters Paz in a Mother Base hospital room. She doesn't seem to remember the incidents that followed her betrayal in Peace Walker, and it's discussed that she has amnesia due to trauma. In order to jog her memory, Venom has to collect memento photos relating to Paz to show her. Once he's gathered them all, he finds Paz in her room in a panic. She declares there's still a bomb inside of her and pulls a bomb out of her stomach. She jumps back from Venom, much like she jumped back from the helicopter, and explodes. When Venom comes to, he realizes Paz had never been on Mother Base in the first place, and that he'd hallucinated her as a way of processing his own feelings and traumas. In her final tape in MGS5, Pacifica laments that Peace Day never came and repeats that to Venom. Peace Day never came. It's symbolic of how Venom will never experience a day of peace now that he's taken on the mantle of Big Boss. Though Peace Day may seem ever looming on the horizon, Big Boss makes a nation-state of soldiers who will always be valuable as warriors. No war means no use for the people he holds dear, so Peace Day can never come. We don't know a lot about Venom when he was a medic, though from his occupation alone we can assume he had a drive to help people. Paz tells Venom in her final tape,
Our wishes do not come true. We just cling on to our dreams, our phantoms, mine and yours.
Maybe Venom wanted to stop fighting. Venom wasn't able to save Pacifica, and he grapples with that shortcoming.
You can kill Skullface, murder Huey, slaughter Zero, burn the whole world down, and it still won't bring me back. Me, or any of the dead. And that was our business. War.
Paz is a safe way for Venom to face his own feelings. He knows that no matter who he hurts or kills, it won't bring back those they've lost. Pacifica Ocean is a tragic character. She's an orphan who is molded into an operative for Cypher and used in a petty conflict between 2 men with differing opinions. She threatens BB that his fate is to be used and thrown away, but finds herself in that situation instead as Cypher and Skullface uses her and then throws her away when she's beyond any use. Her death haunts Venom, and her phantom darkly points out that Peace Day is unattainable for the both of them. What did you think about Paz? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. Please like, subscribe, turn notifications on, and join us in Discord. We're always talking about MGS. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.